And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Saturday Night Wine Stream and another exciting episode of Drink with Rick. This is Drink with Rick, episode 102. I'm Rick, and tonight we're going to open up a bottle of wine that I've been wanting to try for a long, long time. Seen on the shelf many years at this local supermarket, and I've never tried it. And we're going to try it tonight because I think this is a good time to do so, and I'll explain that as I go along. I'll explain that in just a little bit. But I also have a big show. I mean, this is a really big, jam-packed show tonight, so please stick around. I hope you'll stay with me. If you're joining me for the first time, this is Drink with Rick. This is a stream of consciousness kind of show. I do have some show notes. They're right here. I don't always follow them verbatim. Sometimes I don't follow them a whole lot at all, because this show isn't about me. It's somewhat about the wine, but this is really a show about you and me, getting together on a Saturday night, kicking back, relaxing, and just having a good time, especially in the chats. And you know what? I enjoy it. That's the best part of the show for me, is just interacting with everybody in the chat and just finding out what you're doing, what you're up to, what you're drinking, what you're not drinking, what you like to be drinking, or what you like to see me drinking. And you know what? Tell me what you like to see me drinking. If I can afford a bottle of it, I'll see if I can get it and drink it too. Of course, if you're joining me for the first time, or the 102nd time, or any time between, you can join the chats live on Facebook. The Facebook page is Drink with Rick, and also on YouTube. YouTube is Drink with Rick. You can join in the chat there. Also on Twitch. Twitch, we're live at Drink with Rick 1, Drink with Rick and the number 1. You can join me live in the chat there too. Also on Twitter via Periscope. Twitter, you can watch on Twitter and tweet me there if you'd like to. Also on the website at drinkwithrick.com. Now, I don't have a chat going on there, but if you click on the post for the live show that's going on at this moment, there's a comment box below. You can leave a comment in the box and I will respond in kind. Also, the podcast. If you can't stick around for the live show and you can always watch the live show later, of course, because we record these and we save them as well and archive them. But the podcast goes out on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. 10 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday night. And you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, your favorite Android device, Stitcher Radio, Blueberry.com, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, and also by email. If you click on the button, if you go to the subscribe page at drinkwithrick.com, you can click on any of those buttons to subscribe. If you click on the by email button, just put in your email address and you will get the latest episode in your inbox as soon as it drops every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, and no salesman will call. I don't keep those email addresses, okay? Just so you know, I'm not going to spam you about anything, okay? So hopefully that'll put your mind at ease if you are concerned about it. I know I'm concerned about spam. I get a ton of it all the time. I mean, well, not literally. Spam doesn't really weigh anything, does it? But I get a lot of it. Okay, I get a lot of spam. Don't we all? All right, so we have a jam-packed show, as I mentioned before. We're going to open, pour, taste, and review this wine, pair it with some food. I also have some other things. I've got some birthdays. I have a lot of birthdays tonight. A lot of birthdays to celebrate. Seems like February is the month for birthdays. And we have a nice celebration going on pretty much all weekend at our house as well. We have a couple of birthdays and an anniversary, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. We have some National Days, of course. National Days. I missed that last week, and I apologize for that. I got caught up in the chats and everything else. Just completely forgot about the National Days. But we got some National Days tonight. Hopefully somebody will remind me that that I need to do the National Days in case I forget, and then we can get to those. Also, kind of a memorial toast. It is a memorial toast to a family member who passed away earlier this week, and also, my good friend, a good friend of mine who is working towards basically a prize for. Well, I'll explain that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm trying to list everything we're going to talk about tonight. We're also going to talk about NASCAR a little bit. Now, I'm not going to bore you with NASCAR racing if you're not into it. It's okay. Just a couple of little interesting things about NASCAR that you didn't know that you might find interesting. You might find interesting to know. And, that's pretty much, of course, we've got the chat. So please put in your thoughts in the chat. Tell me how you're doing. And we'll have a great time tonight. Let's see, just to check the chats so far, we've got, YouTube's kind of quiet. Facebook's kind of quiet at the moment. But we have folks joining us on Twitch. In Twitch, we have CM Cinder. CM Cinder says, beep boop. Okay. And Barnstar's in the chat. It's great to see you, Barnstar. I'm glad you're here. Please stick around. This is going to be a lot of fun. And I tell you, it's going to be a packed show tonight. It really is. Barnstar says, I'll need to grab my National Day calendar to keep close by to remind me to remind you. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And that Square Guy's in the chat. The Square Guy, he says, hi, everyone. I'm finally here this time. I am so glad you're here. You know, that Square Guy, he does a great live stream on Twitch. He is one of my favorite Twitch streamers, and he has he puts together Lego kits and things like that live right there, and it's fun to watch. And he interacts with everybody, and it's fun to chat with him. And he's got quite a tribe there. He does. He has his yeah, he's got a lot of folks that enjoy watching him. Also, he and Darcy do some cooking videos, which are always enjoyable, and he plays some games, does some Breath of the Wild, things like that. He's just an all-around cool guy. I wouldn't call him Square by any means. He calls himself Square, but I think he's a pretty cool guy. So check it out. It's that Square Guy. I'm glad you're in the chat, the Square Guy. And let's see what else is going on here. My chat just paused here. And better yet, the Square Guy says, better yet, I'm here and I can stay. I'm busy tidying up a lot of our Lego stuff, getting everything organized finally. He says, such a good elevator pitch. Thanks, Rick. No problem. Hey, it's an honor to do it. You give me such a send-up every time I in the chat, and I lurk around the chat a lot. So I'm just glad we're friends, and I'm glad you're streaming, and I hope you and Darcy are doing well. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Legos later, because we're going to talk about that a bit. Now, I have, let's see, anything going on Facebook right now. Oh, Ed's in the chat. Ed Panis is in the chat, my good friend Ed. Ed says, hey, Rick. And my lovely wife, Chi, is in the chat. She says, hello. And Ed Anthony. Oh, boy, the Eds are here tonight. That's great. I am honored. Ed's in the chat. Ed feels safer to be here post-vaccination. And congratulations, Ed. I'm glad you got the vaccination. I haven't had mine yet because I'm not that high on the list, apparently. But, when it comes time, that's what we'll be doing, I suppose. So, Ed Anthony, the two Eds, yes, and Edward Panis, better than one. That's true. But stick around, both of you, because we're going to have, this is going to be such an evening. It really is. It's going to be such an evening. So, I know I'm getting started late on opening the wine because I just want to say hello to everybody, and I'm just so glad everyone's here. So, and if you're not here, come on in. Come on in. Okay, so this is what we're opening tonight. This is the wine that we're going to be opening. This is a Richard Childress wine. Richard Childress, this is from Childress Vineyards. It's a Barrel Select 3. It's just called 3 red wine. And there is some meaning behind this. That's fortuitous that I am opening this wine up tonight. There's a reason for it. It was planned. And the reason, of course, is because NASCAR season is coming up, and the Daytona 500 is tomorrow, February 14th, which just happens to be Valentine's Day as well. It's we've got the race, the big race coming tomorrow, and I have a story. I have a true story about that. I think you want to stick around and hear that I think most all of you have never heard before, a personal story regarding that race. And I think it's a little freaky, but I'm going to share that with you in just a little bit, so please stick around for that. Anyway, this is Childress Vineyards 3 red wine. If that 3 looks familiar, it should, because that's the number 3 from the number 3 car that Richard Childress drove for many years until he handed over the wheel to Dale Earnhardt Sr. So anyway, This, I'm going to read the back of this wine, the back of this label here for you. The back of this label says, Childress Vineyards 3 Red Wine. 3 Red is an easy drinking, smooth wine bursting with cherry flavors. The distinctive taste is as memorable as its namesake, the legendary number 3 car owned by Richard Childress. 3 is an excellent choice to accompany spicy, fair, or all on its own. This is vented and bottled by Childress Winery LLC in Lexington, North Carolina. Yes, this is a local wine. Childressvineyards.com is a place to go see it. And there is 12.5% alcohol by volume, ABV, in the 750 milliliter bottle of wine. Now, this is interesting because I do like wines of a little bit lower alcohol content because I enjoy them a little bit more, and I don't have a tendency to taste the alcohol so much. I want to just enjoy the taste of the wine, which is good, and it doesn't leave me with any kind of a headache the next day if I drink too much of it, which hopefully I won't tonight. But I tell you what, we have so many birthdays and anniversaries and things like that to toast tonight. Well, as Roy Scheider's character would say in Jaws, we're going to need a bigger bottle. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and open this wine, and then we'll get back to the chats in just a moment. It's going to require a little bit of concentration to open this one. Now, so you're asking me, okay, what's about this 3 wine? Is this just a marketing thing, or is this really a real wine from a real vineyard by a real NASCAR driver? Yes, it is. Richard Childress, when he started driving for NASCAR sometime back, he would go out and visit some wineries, and boy, this is not cutting very good tonight, is it? And he developed an interest in wines, and wineries, and wines, and the whole winemaking process, and growing grapes. And so early on, his racing career, I think around the 80s or so, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, he started his own vineyard and winery right here in North Carolina, and they produce quite a bit of wine every year. And now this one does not have a year associated. There's no year printed on the bottle itself, which is interesting. So I don't know what actual year this is. Hopefully it's not too young or too old, but we're going to find out. So I just opened it up with my trusty mechanical corkscrew. And let me get a closer shot on this. And I'm going to get my Veneto aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set, which is available from Amazon. For the whole set's $19.95. I think the aerator itself is about $12, something like that. But you can, if you're interested in getting one of these, you can go to my website at drinkwithrick.com, click on the banner on top to order one, and you can order one, and maybe I'll get a few pennies out of it. I don't know. Who knows? But to hold the red nectar in glass, I have my trusty Galway genuine Irish crystal glass from Ireland, given to me by my employers at BuyTwoEarRadios.com. We're going to pour a little bit of this wine into the glass. Yeah, that looks very interesting. Oh, I poured a little bit more than I should have, should I? It's supposed to be just a little taste to start off with, but we're going to, I've got it poured into the glass, and while we're doing this, we're going to learn a little bit more about this wine. Let me check the chat first, just real quick. Let me check Twitch, see how that's going. Barnstar says, both Eds tonight, sweet, and it is. It's always great to have them both here, and they're both great friends, real good guys. And Barnstar says, do you follow NASCAR racing, Rick? And I do. Tommy and I both follow racing. We have our favorite racers, both of which are pretty much retired now. And Guy Hermy is in the chat. Good to see you, Guy Hermy. How you doing? It says Salve Brazil. Hey, but it's good to see you in the chat. Stick around. We're going to have some fun. And that square guy says, oh man, I love your stories. Well, I've got one tonight that'll send chills up your spine, okay? It did for me. Still does when I think about it a lot. So anyway, so here's the wine. Where were we? Let's find out a little bit more about this wine before we get too involved with with everything else. Now, Childress Vineyards. I went to the website childressvineyards.com, and I'm going to give you an overview. I'm going to paraphrase this. I'm going to read this verbatim from their site. This comes from their site. They opened the doors to Childress Vineyards in 2004, and Richard Childress, apparently it was a long time dream he had to have his own winery and his own vineyard, and that's what he did. And he apparently, when it was one of the most, it says it is, Childress Vineyards, one of the most prominent wineries in North Carolina. So that, and I was aware of that. I just never have gone to visit it. I've always kind of wanted to visit it, maybe one of these days when the whole pandemic thing's over and I've had my shots and everything else, and it's safe to go outside again, more or less, and then I can go visit some of these wineries again, like I really miss doing. But he apparently, when he, let's see, where was I here? I lost my place on the page. So apparently he, I missed that. Okay, I lost my place. Never mind. So I think it was 1981 that he handed over the wheel to Dale Earnhardt Sr. to the number 3 car. And of course, the number 3 car was driven by Dale Sr. for a number of years. And between the two of them, between Childress and Earnhardt, they racked up a lot of wins over the years, over the decades. They both made names for themselves. Now, getting back to the wine here, the wine, I did have some information on the wine. And I got some of it from Vivino because it didn't really say much on the label itself, but it says the grapes are, this is a red wine, so it's a red blend. The grapes are a Cabernet Franc, a Malbec, and a Merlot. So you've got 3 wines there mixed in, a Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and a Merlot. Now, this is going to be an interesting blend because I've had the Cabernet Merlot, but the Franc I'm not so sure about. The wine is supposed to be, from what I've been reading, is supposed to be a little on the sweet side. I'm not sure about that with these wines because these are generally pretty dry wines, but we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. They gave it 3.4 stars on Vivino, and the price they have up there is $12.99. Now, I looked it up on Wine Searcher, and Total Wine in North Carolina in Raleigh has it for $8.99 a bottle. Let's see. In Lowe's Foods in North Carolina had it for $9.99. Triangle Wine in North Carolina for $10.99. And then the Childress Winery sells it for $12.99. Now, I paid, or so my wife tells me, because she actually bought it at the store for me. I said, hey, go out and pick up a bottle of this wine. She said, sure. And I paid her back. And I paid $9.99 for this bottle of wine. So apparently this is kind of a median price for this wine. And it supposedly I always see it at the local Harris Teeters and some of the places around here in North Carolina. Of course, it is a locally grown wine, so it's not a surprise that you're going to see the local wines here. I'm not sure about its availability in other areas. But I think Childress wines will ship. I'm just not sure where all they'll ship to. So if you're interested, it might be, or if you're a fan of NASCAR and just want to try it out, that might be worth giving it a try. Guy Hermy says, give me a bottle of this as a gift. Yeah. And Score Guys, don't think he does that, Guy Hermy, but the wines Rick drinks and reviews are always very affordable, so maybe you could get your own. And Guy Hermy says, I'm poor, and I can appreciate the situation. Trust me, because these are tough times. These are very tough times for all of us. So let's go ahead and try the wine. As a matter of fact, let me check chat and Facebook, see if anything else is going on. Sherrod's in the chat. I know, Sherrod, it might be. It might be Kathy too. Is it Kathy or Sherrod or both? Might be. Either way, I'm glad to see you here. And you say, Aunt, your dad's sister? Yes, one of them. Yeah, one of my dad's sisters. My dad had seven, six, seven, nine. I lost count. He had a lot of sisters. I had a lot of aunts and some uncles. So yeah, we'll cover that very shortly. As a matter of fact. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. So back to the wine. Let's go ahead and give this a little bit of a tasting. And I think this is. I'm not sure. They said it was going to be a little sweet. I don't know. We'll give it a try. The bouquet is interesting. It very much smells like a Merlot, mostly a Merlot. I don't know what the percentages by this is. It's Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and a Merlot, but I don't know what percentages of each wine are in there, to be honest, because they don't really say. They just say that they mention the three wines. So I'm as much in the dark about that as you are. But right off the bat, I'm getting cherry. Cherry and a hint of raspberry. So a lot of red fruit in this wine. A lot of red fruit. Let's give it a taste. Okay, now it's a little on the sweeter side. It is a little on the sweeter side. And it's fairly sweet on the tongue. On the tip of the tongue, it's sweet. We've seen and heard that before. That's not unusual. It goes down fairly dry. It's not overly dry. It's kind of medium. The tannin seems a little bit on the light side. And yeah, it's not a lot of tannins in this wine. Let me give it another taste here. It's medium bodied. They were saying it's light bodied here, but I'm seeing that maybe it's a lot. Yeah, it's a little on the lighter side when I look down into it. Medium to light bodied, somewhere in between. And it's a little bit of a tart finish. It's a little tart finish, but I like tart. It's not bad. I mean, it's not super sour or anything like that, but it's a little bit of a tart finish. And it has a very nice, kind of an almost silky mouthfeel to it here. I like that. But the cherry is the most pronounced flavor in this wine. It's cherry and a little bit, and I think I mentioned raspberry before, didn't I? Just a hint of that a little bit, but mostly cherry is what I'm really tasting in this wine. And it's a little bit oaky, just a hint of oakiness to it. Not bad, but it's actually a very smooth wine. It actually goes down very, very smooth. I'm surprised. I didn't expect it. I was expecting something a little bit more of a dessert wine kind of, taste to it, like with a with a more, how should I say, a sweeter taste to it, but it's not really like that at all. It has a hint of sweetness to it, and at the very end, but it's actually quite smooth. So yeah, I'm kind of impressed with it. Well, that's good because we have some foods to pair it with, and boy, do we have some foods. And one of these foods is kind of a hint to what's coming up. Let me give you a closer shot of this. Okay, we have some barbecue. This is a barbecue. What do we have here? This is barbecue beef brisket, and this is from Midwood Barbecue up here in North Carolina. We have some beef Southern sausage, and we have some chicken. We have some chicken, barbecue chicken, also from the same barbecue place. We have the cheddar cheese. We have, of course, the Trader Joe's double cream Gouda. Ooh, yeah. A few crackers to help clear the palate. And what is this? What's this? Birthday cake? Yes, birthday cake. And yes, it is. It's birthday cake. It comes from Nothing Bundt Cakes. Yes, it's a bundt cake, but it's called Nothing Bundt Cakes. I think it's a chain. I think they're around a lot of different places, but these are really awesome cakes. I'm not supposed to be eating cake, but it's a special occasion, actually 2 or 3 special occasions, and I hope you'll celebrate them along with me. Anyway, let me set this over here. Let's go ahead and try this food pairing because I don't want to go too long, and we've got a lot of things to cover. So let's go ahead and try it with the barbecue beef. And just before I do that, let me check the chats again. Quiet on YouTube and a little bit quiet on Facebook. And we have folks in, that Square Guy says, what kind of wine birthday, what kind of wine is your favorite, Rick? Sweet, dry, or bitter? I like dry, I prefer dry wines, dry reds. That's what I like. Now, I'll drink a lot of different wines. Depends on the mood, depends on what I'm pairing it with, and depends on who's over for dinner or whatever, what the occasion is. But I do prefer dry reds. Last week we had a white wine, and it was actually quite good. And I'm not a white wine person, but I really actually enjoyed it, and it went really well with some of the foods that we tried. So I really enjoyed it. And Marnstar says, birthday cake? Sorry, never heard of it. Well, we're going to try a little bit of that tonight. Okay, so let's try it with the the smoked. What did I say this was? It's just the beef brisket. So we'll try that. It's getting a little cold side now because it's been sitting up here a while. And this is a great brisket. I don't have any barbecue sauce to dip it in here, but still great. A little chewy now. It's cold, but wow, good. Hey, okay. I actually put, it's a slight oakiness, as I mentioned before to this, just a slight oakiness, low tannin. And I think it could be a little bit more tannic to go perfectly with this, but I think it's actually a good pairing. It actually works well, and it kind of brings out the smoky flavor of the barbecue. So it actually works okay. I'm okay with that. Let's try it with chicken. Now this, I don't know. This might be okay with the chicken because it is a smoked chicken. So it's breaded but smoked. This might be a good pairing as well. Let's try this out. I'd say if you're going to go with a breaded smoked barbecue chicken, I think this would be okay with that as well. So far, it's working out okay. And I'm going to clear the palate a little bit because I didn't do that between these. And let me try it with the beef simmer sausage. Now, this is pretty spicy, and this is the kind of spiciness that probably lends itself to maybe a wine that's a little more, has more tannins to it. Maybe a little drier. And I say it's a dry wine, but it's not super dry. A little tart at the end. Let's see how this works. The sausage is good, by the way. Yeah, I could have it with the sausage, but I think I'd rather have it with the brisket. Yeah, I think it needs to be a little more tannic, this wine, to go well with the sausage. But it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, if I have this in the house and I've got some sausage and crackers and things like that, hey, I'll do that. I'll do that. It's okay. I'll do that. That's fine. Let me clear the palate a little bit. A rich cracker. And I'm putting on the Ritz tonight, folks. Pardon the pun, but All right, let's try it with the cheese. This with the cheddar. This should be okay with the cheddar. I think so. I'm not expecting the nasty surprises with the cheddar on this. The thing about cheddar cheese is it's a good all-around safe bet. If you're going to have a wine cheese tasting party or have some friends over, serving them some wine, some cheese, cheddar is usually a pretty safe bet for a lot of those. Yeah, I mean, it does. It really accentuates the flavor of the cheddar cheese in this wine. I like that. Makes it nice and creamy. Very good. I like that. Let me try a little more cracker and clear the palate one more time. And let's try it with the Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda. Never had a miss on it, and there have been a couple times when the Gouda cheese has actually saved a wine or two, you know? So, can you believe that? Yeah. Great cheese. One of my favorites. Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda. Mm. Mm. Once again, a winner. I'll tell you what, you can't lose by if you're around a Trader Joe's and you want some pairings to go with a wine, red or white, mostly red. You can't go wrong with picking the Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda for this. And trust me, I'm not a shill for Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's, by the way. It's not a paid endorsement by any sense of the word. I just like this cheese. It's really, really good. My whole family does. Very, very enjoyable cheese. We're going to try the birthday cake in a little bit when it's time, and it will be time very soon. But let's get back to the chat for just a moment, and let's see what's going on in the chat. And Nancy's in the chat, and I take it Tom's there too, Tom and Nancy. Nancy and Tom say hi, Rick, and hi right back you. And Nancy says happy birthday. Ooh, don't don't spill the beans yet, but thank you. All right, we've got some birthdays to toast. So I tell you what, let's go ahead right into the birthdays. And all right, so I'm glad you're here, Tom and Nancy. I'm really, really glad to see you, by the way. And it's been so long. It's been too long. It really has been. Okay, so let's get right to the birthdays and the anniversaries. So I'm going to cue the fireworks, right? Cue the fireworks. All right, fireworks are cued. I've got to pour the wine, and like I said, I think we're going to need a bigger bottle. We just might. All right, so the first birthday I want to toast is for my brother-in-law, Tom. Tom married to my sister Penny, and they have a wonderful son. His name is Ben, who's a namesake of my dad, who passed away a few years ago. And Tom's birthday was this past Friday, the 12th, 2/12. Tom, his birthday, and I think they're still out partying, so they're probably not here tonight because they're probably still out celebrating. I think Penny mentioned to me they were going to be out celebrating for the weekend. So here's to Tom. Here's to, and tell you what, Tom is a great guy. He really is. He is a really cool guy, and I'm so glad and honored to be called his brother-in-law. Here's to my brother-in-law, Tom Harms. Happy, happy birthday, and may you have many, 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 many more. Here's to Tom. You know what, Tom? I'm going to toast you again, just because I can. And no one's going to stop me. So here's to you, Tom. Happy birthday. And I'm sure you all have been toasting all weekend. So stay safe out there, and I'm glad. Hopefully, we'll be able to get together at some point soon. It's been too long. It has been. I have another birthday to toast for a Friday person, somebody whose birthday was also on the same day as Tom's. And this is for an old friend of mine, my good friend Lisa Ruby. And Lisa, we worked together at WFL. She worked in sales. I knew Lisa for, I worked with her for 12 years. I think she was there almost as long as I was, if not longer. But here's to Lisa, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And may you have many, many, many more. I know I'm kind of going through some of these birthdays real quick. So I have another birthday, a very special birthday for a very special young lady. And I think you all know her, especially on Twitch. I think you all know who this special lady is, and I think most everyone on Facebook knows. This is for my daughter, Tia. And her birthday is today. Today is Tia's birthday, and I want to give her a special birthday toast. Yes, we've been celebrating her birthday all day, and Tia, you know her in the chat as CM Cinder. CM Cinder is one of our mods in the chat. This is her birthday, and I want to say to my daughter Tia, I love you, and happy, happy birthday. And I'm going to toast you again too, before I start running out of wine. Happy birthday to my wonderful daughter, and my very talented daughter, Tia, who actually made me, for the holidays, she made me that nice wine glass holder. It's my daughter, Tia. She does all our graphics too. She does all our graphics for Drink with Rick. You know, you see the Drink with Rick graphics and all the holiday ones. And also, if you go to the Twitch page and all the graphics there, she does all of that. To my daughter, Tia, happy, happy birthday. For CM Cinder. Next birthday, I want to toast another old friend of mine. I'll go way, way back to church, our days at church when I was a kid. And I was friends with his sons. And that would be my friend Lloyd. For my good friend Lloyd, his birthday is this coming Tuesday, the 16th. Lloyd Register, if you're out there, happy, happy birthday to you. It's been a long time since I've seen you as well. I think the last time I saw you, the last time we talked was way back when at WFL, Channel 35. And you'd come in to do some commercial spots for your company, and we'd get a chance to chat a little bit there. But I think that's the last time I've actually seen Lloyd. It's been many, many years. Anyway, Lloyd, and we're friends on Facebook, of course. We have been for a long, long time. Lloyd, here's to you. Happy, happy birthday, my friend. Lloyd Register. Happy birthday, and may you have many, many, many more. And, another special birthday for another family. I have family members with birthdays this week. I'll tell you what, a lot of my family have birthdays in February. A lot of February birthdays. This is for my cousin Bert. My cousin Bert, are you there, Bert? Are you in the chat? I'm pretty sure Sherrod and Kathy are in the chat here. They're also my cousins. Kathy and Sherrod. And this is a birthday toast for my cousin Bert, whose birthday is coming up this coming Wednesday, the 17th. Wednesday the 17th, for my cousin Bert Jones. Bert, this is for you. Happy, happy birthday. And may you have many, many, many more. And you know, Bert, I'll toast you again. You know, these double toasts are going to really get to me. I'm going to go through this bottle too quick. I got to cut them down a single toast or I'm going to be under big trouble. Bert, once again, here's to you. But that's for my cousin Bert. Known Bert ever since we were little kids, ever since we were born. Kathy is Bert's older. I've had enough. Kathy is Bert's older sister, and I'm kind of in between. I think age-wise, I'm kind of in between Kathy and Bert. Kathy's I think a year or two older than I am. Bert's a year or two younger than me, so I'm sort of in the middle, in between the two of them. But we've had many great times together. It's been a long time since we've seen any of them. But excuse me, I got a little more of this. I'll toast you one more time, Bert, just because I can. Happy birthday. So, I have two more birthdays to toast. Hey, I told you there were a lot of birthdays, and also for some good friends. I have a birthday toast for my good friend Betsy, family friend Betsy, whose son is also good friends with my son, and Betsy has been a great help to us over the years, and just really, really nice person, just sweet lady. Betsy's just a sweet lady. And Betsy, your birthday is on the 18th, this coming Thursday on the 18th. And Betsy, here's to you. Happy, happy birthday, my friend. For Betsy Ollinger. And may you have many, many, many more. This is from my friend Betsy Ollinger. Another toast. I've got to, right? To Betsy. Betsy Ollinger. she's a neighbor. She doesn't live that far away from us, but with this pandemic, we don't all get to see each other that much anymore, really. I have one more birthday to toast that's also for a special friend. And all my friends are special to me. Yes, they are. I'm not making light of this. All my friends are special to me. This is from my good friend Rhonda. Rhonda, her birthday is also on the 18th, this coming Thursday. I'll probably toast her again next week. And Betsy too. Since it's close to next Saturday. Betsy and Rhonda, their birthdays are on the same day. Anyway, Rhonda and I go way back to WFL as well. We're all WFL alumni, and she worked with Chris Wolf. She was promotion. She worked in promotions and programming with my boss Chris Wolf, and we worked on some things together. And Rhonda's a really cool person, always a very cool person, and she likes wine too. I know she likes wine. I know for a fact. Anyway, Rhonda, this is for you. Here is for your birthday. Happy, happy birthday. And may you have many, many, many more. I'm going to toast you again. My good friend, Rhonda Cooper Poe. Rhonda Poe, happy birthday. Good friend, Rhonda Poe. Now, I have an anniversary to toast as well. And Nancy, Nancy is they're in the chat and Facebook. And yes, Tom and Nancy say happy anniversary. And why are they saying happy anniversary? Yeah, they were saying happy birthday to Tia. They were also saying happy anniversary. And this anniversary is special anniversary. That's why I'm leaving this up here for a few minutes. 27 years ago, my wife and I were married. My lovely wife, Chi. And Chi came into my life, basically I've known her for 28 years, but she came into my life in, she's just always been, let me tell you something, she's made it so much better. My quality of life and my life in general has just been so much better just because of my wife, Chi. We've been married for 27 years as of tomorrow. Our anniversary is tomorrow, February 14th. Yes, we were married on Valentine's Day. Oh, how romantic. I don't have an awe button here. I'm going to, next season I'm going to set up some sound effects and stuff. We'll make this a lot of fun. But for now, I'm just going to have to make my own sound effects. Yeah. Anyway, I don't do that very well. So my wife and I were married 27 years ago tomorrow. Well, it's almost in another hour and 14 minutes. How about that? So to my lovely wife, Chi, my very talented wife, Chi, who is an awesome cook. And, she didn't cook anything on the plate tonight, but, we've had a lot of her cooking here on the show, and I've showcased quite a bit of it. And she's just a very awesome, talented cook. She's very talented at a lot of things. She does... she has a lot of different abilities and talents that she can that she's showcased over the years. She's an artist herself, and she's a very, very smart person. And I just want to say to my wife, Chi, I wouldn't even be here now if it wasn't for my wife, Chi, technically, because I think I would have been dead a long time ago. I mean, she has been that much of a part of my life that without her, there's no Rick. There's no drink with Rick, technically, because she helps me out every week she takes care of all the food here every week, too. So, and she supports me in so many ways. She's supported me so much. All my crazy ideas, all my crazy dreams, my businesses, and all that kind of stuff. Rolls her eyes, but she supports them. And she's done it 100%, and I can't give her any kind of a tribute that really comes close to doing her justice in terms of just how much I appreciate my wife. I love her, and I appreciate her so much. And you know what? A lot of the times I don't show it, as a lot of guys don't. I mean, we get caught up in our day-to-day things, and I don't always show my appreciation to her as I should. But I do appreciate her so much. She's so much a part of me, and I love her so much. It has been an honor and a privilege, and it's just been so awesome being married to you these past 27 years, and I look forward to being together for many, many, many more, another 27 years, however long we live. But this is to you, my wonderful wife, Chi. Happy anniversary. And I'm going to toast you again because you know what? You're worth it. Cheers to Chi. My beautiful wife, Chi. I know, I got a little tongue-tied in there with trying to give her tribute, but I don't know how else to express myself there. Just she means so much to me. She does. Anyway, that's the anniversary. Okay. Yes, Tom and Nancy were saying happy birthday to me also. I didn't want to make a big deal about it. I really did not want to make a big deal about it, but I kind of figured it would come up at some point. Yep. CM Cinder says, hey, Dad, don't forget another very important birthday to toast. And, it kind of got let out, I think, in the chat, more or less. The Score Guy says, you're very lucky. You have such a wonderful and supportive wife. I'm sure you're just as supportive a husband, too. I can always do better. Trust me, Score Guy, I can always do better. Look, I think you and Darcy make an awesome couple, and I wish you all the best. And here's to my Square Guy and to Darcy. Darcy Stardust. And that Square Guy, happy birthday. Thank you. My birthday is Monday. Monday the 15th. Now, this is kind of a little bit weird. It's a little bit awkward because I'm not toasting my own birthday. Okay, I'm not into tooting my own horn, so to speak. But thank you, Tom and Nancy. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate it very, very much. The happy birthday. Thank you very much. And she says, so tired today, I need a masseuse. I wonder who that can be. As soon as I'm done with this stream, I guess. So, all right, so this is a little awkward because I've got, we're toasting. I think we're good with the toast right now. Just to let everybody know, to recap, we're drinking this. We're drinking the Childress Vineyards red wine. This is 3. It's just called 3 red wine, 12.5% alcohol by volume. And it's probably a good thing, too, because I'm already almost halfway down this bottle from all the toasts. And I've got to pace myself from here on out because I want to be able to, I want to be able to finish the show tonight and still have some time to go and prep the podcast for Monday. So I still have a lot of work to do before my night's over. Anyway, so that's the wine we're drinking. My birthday this year is a little bit awkward because that Square Guy said, toast yourself, do it. You got to do it now. Tom says you got to do it. Oh, come on. This is so cheesy. I can't. This seems so vain. I don't want to be vain. Okay, here's to me. Happy birthday to me. Oh, come on. I can't. Seriously. Right. Thank you. It's much appreciated, guys. It's much appreciated. I really didn't even want to mention it, but I think other folks in the chat had already mentioned it. So, CM Center says, "Yay!" All right. Well, this is where it gets. Now I know we're having a great time and everything like that, but we are. This is a lot of fun. I appreciate it. She says, "Happy birthday, Rick." Thank you, Chi. Okay. Well, I need to get serious for just a moment because I do have something else on the list. This is going to be a toast, but this is really more of a memorial toast. and I don't want to put a I don't want to put a damper on all the celebrations. I really don't. But I think that in a way, this is kind of a celebration. It's just a different kind of celebration. It's a celebration of life, celebration of someone's life. Now, and let me explain here what I'm talking about. I think most of you know, those who follow the show, who listen and watch the show and follow in the chats every week, you know that my aunt, I have a number of aunts, but I have an aunt on my dad's side who is, we've celebrated her life and her birthday several times, particularly because she had made it to 103 years old. And my Aunt Connie, I'm talking about my Aunt Connie now. I don't know how to really segue into this. It's kind of awkward, really. But my Aunt Connie, we've talked about her many times in the show. We've celebrated the fact that she hit 100 years old, then 101, 102, 103. So my Aunt Connie, she passed away on the 8th, February 8th. It was just this past week. And I mean, it wasn't a real shock to anybody because, I mean, she was 103 years old and she lived a great long life, but it was still it was still not happy because we had wanted to go up to visit them when the pandemic was over and was hoping we'd get to see her one more time. That unfortunately that didn't happen. And we were actually planning to go visit them up in Pennsylvania. My cousins Denise and Peter and Aunt Connie last summer, and towards the end of the last summer. But then because of the pandemic, we had to put it off, and we haven't been able to go up there. So we were kind of hoping that all this would end and we'd be able to make a trip because we knew she was getting old and coming along in years. But apparently that wasn't going to be the case. She passed away on February 8th. I want to give her a memorial tribute at this time, a short memorial tribute, and toast her, because I think for 103 years old, she lived quite a full life, and although we're sad in her passing, in a way I kind of want to celebrate her life because she had lived a full life, and it was quite an interesting life. I mean. Her obituary, which you can read at obittree.com and look up Concetta Papavero. That was her name, Concetta, Concetta Papavero. And I'm going to paraphrase her. I'm not going to read it verbatim here, but she was 103 years old. She passed away in hospice care in Pennsylvania. She was born. And now this is another reason why we celebrated her on the show, because she was a 4th of July, born on the 4th of July. She was born July 4th, 1917 in Philadelphia. And she was one of 11 children. Yeah, I don't have enough fingers for 11. There you go, 11 children. And a couple of which did not really live because they had like 11, 13 kids, something like that. And two of them there were two sets of twins, and one of each set of the twins passed away, as I believe, at birth. My dad was the survivor of one of the sets of twins, as I recall the story. My dad was the youngest son, and my Aunt Connie was close to us because she was the one who basically raised my dad, because there were so many kids in the family. The family was so large, and my grandparents were always, my grandfather was always working to support the family. My grandfather and my grandmother came over from the boat on Italy. Came over on the boat from Italy. Now you know why I like wine so much. My grandfather, I'll get to that in a second. But my grandfather and my grandmother came over different times from Italy, migrated here, and the early 20th century, and they had all these kids. My Aunt Connie was, I believe, the eldest daughter of the kids. I think she might have been the eldest, period, but she was one of the eldest daughters. And she was raised in South Philly, which is, back then was still kind of a tough part of town, and even rougher now, from what I've seen, from what I've heard. And she was really into cooking. That was one of her specialties. She spent a lot of time in the kitchen cooking. And my grandfather, getting back to that a little bit, he used to make his own wine. And that's how my dad learned to make his own wine, from my grandfather. And when my grandfather would take the grapes, the kids would be stomping on them. She'd be one of the kids that'd be there stomping the grapes. And yeah, I mean, they help crush the grapes and get them ready to make the wine with. And there's a story on the obit tree, too, about a fire they had when she was young. She was just a kid. They had a house fire, and the house burned down. And she ran back in to get my dad, who was just a baby. My dad was just a baby. Now, the story as I heard it, that my dad told me, she ran back in to get my dad, to find him in the fire. Everybody else got out of the house during the fire, but my dad was still inside, just a little baby. And she couldn't find him. They couldn't find him. They had a dog. I guess apparently from what I recall in the story, maybe I'm not getting this right. If Gina or Penny come in, maybe they can set me straight if I'm not getting all the details correct. But they had a dog, and my Aunt Connie couldn't find him apparently, and or nobody could find him right away. And when they checked around, I guess around the back of the house later, they found the dog passed away. The dog was laying there, and right next to the dog was my dad. The dog had apparently rescued my dad out of the burning house. And to that day, I remember that was the story my dad told me, that was why he had such a fondness for dogs. And we had a lot of dogs throughout our life. We had a lot of dogs because my dad had such a fondness for them, because a dog has apparently saved his life. Anyway, I kind of digress a little bit. I got off on a tangent, and that's what we do here, right? That's what I do anyway. This is a stream of consciousness kind of show. So let me get back to Connie's story. So she married a man by the name of Joe Papavero, my Uncle Joe, and I have some fond memories of Uncle Joe. He was kind of a cool guy. I mean, he was a very cool guy, and I have a lot of memories of him. And Joe Papavero, my Uncle Joe, really treated her like a queen. He treated my Aunt Connie just like a queen, and just took such good care of her. He passed away, as I recall, from cancer. When I was about, I don't know, I think I was about 10, 11. No, I was about 13, maybe 12 or 13. I'm trying to remember. It was a while back. Anyway, when he passed away, it was pretty tragic. And she, after that, she went to work for a convent, Our Lady of Fatima convent, as a cook. And she worked there for 23 years and raised their daughter, my cousin Denise, raised Denise pretty much on her own. And she was a great cook, by the way. My Aunt Connie was a great cook. At 100 years old, we went to her 100th year birthday party up there. And while we were there, we stayed there for a few days, and she made us a spaghetti dinner, with one of her famous baseball-sized. She used to make these huge baseball-sized meatballs, meat the balls, right? And they were really awesome meatballs. But spaghetti, but the sauce, she had her own recipe for what she called sauce. It was a tomato sauce, what she called gravy. she called the sauce gravy. And she had her own recipe for gravy, and she would work on that all day. She'd go in the kitchen early in the morning, and she'd be working on that gravy pretty much all day. Last time they came to visit us, or no, it was maybe the time before that, she taught Chi how to make her gravy. And she gave her the recipe, and she has her handwritten recipe that she wrote down for Chi, and got her in the kitchen, showed her how to make the gravy. It was pretty cool. Anyway, my Aunt Connie lived quite a life, and 103 years old. I'm gonna show this to you just briefly. So this is a little bit of a tribute to my Aunt Connie. So that's my Aunt Connie in the center, in the middle, and she got to know Tia and Tommy from birth, and spent a lot of time with the kids. She really enjoyed the kids. We spent a lot of time with her and Denise and Peter. She was a very interesting lady. She could be really feisty. She was definitely her own person, and she loved to go out. She didn't like to sit at home. She loved to go out and do things, and she was very active. She was very active. And I think that was one of the secrets of her longevity, being in the kitchen and being active. And she really took to Tommy and Tia very early on when they were born. Almost treated them like her own kids. And this was her 100th birthday celebration. And we all got together for that. And she took to Chi when Chi and I first got married. I took her up there to meet them, and she just fell in love with Chi. She and Chi bonded right away, and she loved Chi. And but that was my Aunt Connie, Conchetta Papavero, and she passed away on February 8th at 103 years old. So I just want to give a toast to my Aunt Connie right now. A loving tribute in memoriam to my Aunt Connie. Here's to you, Aunt Connie. A toast to my Aunt Connie. And let me check the chat here for just a moment. Oh, Benny's in the chat. It's great to see you, Benny. Benny says, "Hi, Rick. How are you? Please give our hugs to Tia with our greetings of a very happy birthday." Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Please stick around. We're going to have some more fun. It'll be very entertaining. And let me go back to the chat here on Twitch for just a moment. And that score guy says, "Sorry to hear that, Rick. Wow, what a long life. Incredible." It was. It was incredible. Seam Cinder says, "Wait, Granddad was a twin?" No, Granddad was not a twin. No, Tia, Granddad was not a twin. They had two sets of twins. Oh, yeah, no, your Granddad. Well, I'm thinking my Granddad. Okay, sorry, scratch that. Take two? This is a lie, folks. You're talking about, yes, your Granddad, my dad. Your Granddad was a twin. Yes, correct. Let me set the records. When you say Granddad, I'm thinking my Granddad. Your Granddad, yes, my dad was a twin. Yes, he was. Score Guy says, "That's an amazing story. If you think that's amazing, wait till see what's coming up. I've got a wild story for you." But that's the thing. Aunt Connie really, she just adored Chi, and something interesting about my Aunt Connie is that she was kind of feisty person. She was the kind of person that you could really tell her to do stuff, and she'd just go do it. She had a mind of her own, and she was very active. But she's in a way, kind of, Beverly Hillbillies. Think Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies, that kind of feistiness. But just she had a sweet soul, but just a little on the feisty side. Very much her own person. Very independent. I'll say that. But with Chi, it was a little bit different. If Chi advised her to do something, or if Chi told her to do something or whatever, she's just like, no complaint, she just do it. It's just like, oh, okay. Because she trusted Chi. She trusted Chi so much. And it really took to her as another daughter. And I thought that was, I always thought that was very, very cool. Very cool about Aunt Connie. Anyway, here's one more toast to my Aunt Connie. Everybody loves my wife. You can't not love her. She's something else. Anyway, where was I? Okay, Benny says happy Valentine's and anniversary to you both, to both of you and Chi. Well, thank you, Benny. I appreciate it. Benny is my sister-in-law, by the way. Another really, really sweet person. My sister-in-law Benny, very, very sweet person. And so where were we? Oh yes, I wanted to mention a couple of things. All right, yeah. My friend, when we're talking about people I've got a favor to ask everybody. While everybody's here, I've got a favor to ask you. My good friend Maxwell, who's a fellow podcaster, Maxwell Ivy, and I mentioned this last week. If you missed it last week, I want to reiterate it this week. My good friend Maxwell Ivy, he's blind. He's a blind person, but he does a podcast. He's also a blogger. And he's known as Maxwell Ivy, the blind blogger. In fact, if you Google up Maxwell Ivy Jr., the blind blogger, you'll come with all kinds of things about him. He's pretty well known. He has a dream. He has an idea of something that he wants to do, which I think is very, very noble. What he wants to do is he has a project called Making Podcasting Dreams Come True for Blind Storytellers in 2021. Now, what his idea is, he wants to take 25 blind bloggers, podcasters, and teach them how to podcast and how to come up with their own podcasts and get them started in podcasting, which I think is a very, very noble idea. I think it's very, very cool. Now, he has applied for what's called the Holman Prize. Now, the Holman Prize is a prize that's given out to independent and enterprising blind individuals, people who are legally blind, every year, and it's a $25,000 prize. And they pick 3 people each year to give out this prize. They say, well, this is what I want to do. This is my project. This is my dream. This is my goal. And they give out the $25,000 to help make that goal happen. And there's one lady this year that's on there that wants to do videos. She's blind, but she wants to do videos on how to operate some of these complicated. Because let's face it, the washers, dryers, automated appliances today, they're so computerized that it can be a little bit daunting. It can be a little bit daunting for me. I have trouble with it. We've got a dryer and a washing machine that whenever it stops, it wants to play a whole song, and do all kinds of things. And every time I go down there, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to start this thing. This lady's blind, and she wants to do videos and tutorials on how to teach other blind people, various tutorials on how to teach blind people how to operate some of these things that have become very, very complicated and a little bit intimidating for some of them to use. I think that's kind of cool. And now what Maxwell does, my friend Maxwell, he wants to train 25 people to be podcasters and start their own podcasts. And I think that's very, very cool. And as a fellow podcaster, I fully support him on that. I met Maxwell at Podfest a few years ago, and we've every year at Podfest, we see him every year at Podfest. And he's such an awesome guy. He doesn't let anything stand in his way of what he wants to do. Now, Maxwell, he's the kind of person that he does a podcast called What's Your Excuse? Basically, what's your excuse? There's so many people out today whining about this and whining about that. And here he is, a blind person who's independent and doing a podcast and doing his own thing and being successful at it. And it's like, well, what's your excuse for not going out and doing this and making your dreams a reality? Here I am. I have a disability here of sorts, and I'm able to go on with my life and make a successful life for myself. You should be able to do the same thing with all of your senses intact. And he has a very good point. It's a very good point. So he's been an inspiration to me. He really has. And so Maxwell has applied for the Holman Prize this year. And they all put up YouTube videos. And I think how you vote is you go up and you watch their YouTube videos and then you like their video. That's all you have to do. I mean, you don't have to send them money or you don't have to do anything else like that. You just watch the video and you like the video. And the most likes, I think, helps qualify you for the prize. Maxwell, I think they have till the end of the next month, March 14th, I think. I said last week, I said February 14th. I was mistaken. I think it's March 14th. I believe. Anyway, Maxwell could use your help. If you can, just go to Holman Prize, the holmanprize.com, I think is the website, and go, actually just look up Maxwell Ivy Jr., Holman Prize, or actually just look up Making Podcasting Dreams Come True for Blind Storytellers 2021. Watch the video. It's only 90 seconds long. It's a little less than 90 seconds. That's like 1 minute, 22 seconds. It's less than 90 seconds. Just like the video, and you'd be doing so much to help the blind blogger make his and 25 other potential podcasters who are blind, their dreams come true. So if you can do that as a favor to me, I would really, really appreciate that. That would be, and Max would really appreciate it. Thank you. That's for my friend Maxwell Ivy. So we're going to talk about NASCAR, right? I've got a story for you about NASCAR. Let me check the chat one more time. Benny says shared. Thank you, Benny. Thank you very much. And let's see. That Square Guy says, I'll share the link with my community too. Thank you, that Square Guy. I really do appreciate it. I've got another thing here too. And that Square Guy, you've been very instrumental in helping to make some of this happen also, because I think he's getting on to that. I mentioned I was going to talk about Legos, right? Let's talk a second about Legos. Okay, so my sister Gina, she notified me the other night that... and if you're into Lego, if you're not into Legos, that's okay too. But I had Legos. Who didn't have Legos as a kid? Who didn't step on Legos as a parent? Mm-hmm. Yeah, more than once. And I tell you what. Let me tell you something for a fact. The Duplos hurt. Okay, the Duplos hurt when you step on them. Those little Legos sometimes are worse. Trust me on that one, okay? If you're a parent who's ever stepped on a Lego, I've stepped on quite a few, and we've had a lot of Legos in our house. We still do. We have a lot of Legos in our house, and I had them when I was a kid. I mean, who didn't have Legos when they was a kid? Didn't play around with Legos. Anyway, so a friend of a friend of my sister Gina, her son has gone to the Lego Ideas site, and it's ideas.lego.com, and he submitted an idea for a Lego kit, and this is a really cool Lego kit. Who likes the Princess Bride? Who likes the Princess Bride? You know what I'm talking about, right? The movie, The Princess Bride. Come on, you know the movie. Okay, who doesn't know about the movie The Princess Bride? Who hasn't seen the movie The Princess Bride? I know a couple of you haven't, but if you haven't seen the movie, you have to see the movie. It's an awesome movie. It's a fun movie, and it's not just because it's got a lot of folks in there that are just fun to watch in the cast. I mean, Billy Crystal's in it, right? And yes, Peter Falk, Columbo, that Peter Falk, one of my favorite characters, Columbo. Peter Falk's in it. Fred Savage is in it from the Wonder Years. A lot of people are in it. Anyway, Princess Bride, classic film. Okay, so the friend of the friend's son has an idea, a Lego idea, to do the Princess Bride, the Gilder Frontier. The Gilder Frontier, and we're talking about 3 different scenes. He's got 3 different scenes. I got to put a link in here. I'll put a link in the show notes if I can. From 3 different scenes, the different fight scenes from the Princess Bride, and it also contains some minifigures, 6 minifigures. One is Vizzini, Inigo Montoya. Yeah, you know Inigo Montoya. Inigo Montoya, you ate my cake. Prepare to diet. Okay. Fezzik, the Man in Black, Princess Buttercup, and then ROUS, the mouse. Yeah, right. The rodent of unusual size, ROUS. So he's got these 6 minifigures, and he's gotten a prototype of this thing on Lego Ideas. Now he is currently right now, as I see, 9,085 supporters. He's got 524 days left. What he's asking for, and what we're all asking for, is if you can support it. Now, supporting, you don't send any money or anything like that. I mean, that's a Lego. All you have to do is just go in. If you're already familiar with Legos, you can just go in. You got an account, and you can just click support and support it. If you don't, you just set up a free account and just click the support button and support it. That's all you have to do. Just click support. It's like clicking like on YouTube, except it's not YouTube, and you're not clicking like. You're just clicking support on Lego Ideas. That's really all you have to do. And if he can hit 10,000 supporters, then Lego will consider making his kit. And that would be pretty awesome, because personally, I like the Princess Bride. We're all fans of the Princess Bride here. And my kids are both fans of Legos, and I like Legos too. I would be willing to just buy the kit just as a collector's item. I think it's that cool. So if you can, I'm no pressure, but if you can, just go up there and support it. Go to ideas.lego.com. Look for the Princess Bride, the Gilder Frontier, and I think his name is his handle there is FS Leinad, FSLEINAD, FS Leinad. So if you do that, that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much. So. And by the way, that Square guy, he mentioned that last night in his stream last night, and that's much appreciated. Let's see, let me catch up in the chat here a little bit. Square says, I just suggested we watch it tonight, but Darcy said on a different movie, I think. Oh, you got to tell Darcy, got to watch Princess Bride. Watch Princess Bride, it's well worth it. She'll fall in love with the movie, and then you'll be in trouble, because then you'll have to watch that movie over and over and over again, because it's that good. I'm just telling you. So let her watch your movie tonight, and then maybe tomorrow night say, hey, we're watching The Princess Bride, and she'll fall in love with the movie. Trust me. It's an awesome movie. To not, let me put it this way, to not ever watch this movie is inconceivable. You have to see the movie to get that one. Okay, so that Square guy says, here's the link. Now no one has any excuse. Thank you. That Square guy says she can hear you. She's seen it. Oh, okay, she's seen the movie, but you haven't. Oh, wow, you've got to see the movie. You got to watch it together. It's a sweet movie. You got to watch it together. So watch it together. Yeah, inconceivable, Martin Starr says. Exactly. So, I think the chat died on Facebook. All right, let me see if I can revive that a little bit, because I've got a story for you don't want to miss. Okay, so we're having a little bit more of this wine. And once again, we're drinking this Childress wine, from Childress Racing, and it is 12.5% alcohol. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit. Okay, so Richard Childress, who started his own winery here in North Carolina, and he quit racing in 1981 and handed over the wheel to the number 3 car, which is what this is, which is the 3 there. It's the 3 from the number 3 car in NASCAR, to Dale Earnhardt Sr. If you've never heard the name Dale Earnhardt Sr., well, I can't help you there. I think most everybody's heard Dale Earnhardt Sr. Of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is also from North Carolina, had quite a career. He just the last year or so, he just retired from racing, and he has his own racing team now. So, who's doing the number 3 car now? Is that Austin Dillon? I'm losing track of all these young racers. I'm losing track of here. Let me double check, because I think I want to make sure I don't give out the wrong information here. Let's see. Let's see. I've got the right. Let's see. I'm looking it up. So he's part of Childress Racing, and yes, he is driving the number 3 Chevy. So that's what I thought. See, I'm not that far gone with this bottle yet, although I'm not too far away from that with all this toasting going on tonight. Okay, so I have a connection. My daughter Tia has a connection to NASCAR here. My son Tommy. Now, so who was asking me earlier? Was that Barnstar? Barnstar, you were asking that. Seam Sanders says, I do not think that means what you think it means. Yeah. Inconceivable. Yes, that's true. That's another quote from Princess Bride. The Square Guy, you have to watch this movie. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And then you'll want to get the Lego kit. You really will. Trust me. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So, from Richard Childress to Dale Earnhardt Sr. to Austin Dillon, number 3 car. Legendary number. Okay, so back in 2001. The 2001? Yeah. Was it 2001? You know what? The time flies so much. Yeah, it was. My daughter Tia had just she just turned 3 years old, I believe. She just turned 3, and now I think it was Marstar that asked me. He said, "Are you into NASCAR?" Yeah, I like NASCAR. I like NASCAR. My son Tommy and I, Tommy Ento, he and I have been to a few NASCAR races up here. We've been to several NASCAR races, and we used to watch it. We used to watch it quite a bit. We used to keep up with it. Tommy's favorite driver was Dale Earnhart Jr. That was his favorite driver. He's got a poster of Jr. up there in his room somewhere. I really like Jeff Gordon a lot. And some people say, "Ooh, Jeff Gordon," because Jeff Gordon for a while was considered the most hated driver in NASCAR, and I think that was really, really overdone. Because he seemed like a pretty nice guy. Anyway, I like Jeff Gordon. Not a fan of the Busch brothers, though. Not a fan of the Busch brothers. The bad boys in NASCAR, as they're called. But and there are other drivers. I really like Danica Patrick. When Danica Patrick got into the Sprint Cup Series, and I was really rooting for her. And simply because she is such a talented driver. She was just such a talented driver, and she was underrated. And I think she was unfairly kind of dismissed a little bit as a driver. And of course, she got out of it a couple of years after that. But she's just a phenomenal driver. And anyway, there are a few drivers that I really like. Jimmy Johnson. I like Jimmy Johnson. And a lot of these new guys, I don't know who a lot of these new guys are. I mean, I know who Austin Dillon is, and I know who a few of these guys are, but the younger crowd, I don't know. I haven't really kept as much with the freshmen there as I have with the older drivers, who are all now kind of starting to been retiring the last couple of years and are starting to retire now. Bubba Wallace, I thought was a really good driver. I mean, great driver, and I was disappointed to see him leave because I thought he has so much talent, phenomenal driver. So many people there that they're really, really good drivers. Anyway, so where was I? Okay, well, my daughter Tia just turned 3, 2001, and I like to watch. I'd get up and watch the races sometimes on a Sunday, Saturday night or Sunday, and sometimes my daughter would sit with me on the couch, just watch some of the race. She wouldn't watch the whole thing, but she'd get up on the couch with me and just watch it, and then she'd get into it a little bit when she was really little. So one particular Sunday, this was during the Daytona 500 race. This was February 18th, I believe, during the Daytona 500 race. Don't get ahead of me here. For those who know what I'm talking about, don't get ahead of me, okay? All right, so I'm watching the race, from pretty much the most of the race. It's just, the usual stuff. And she gets up, she climbs up on the couch, she's sitting there with me. And we're just sitting there watching the race for a while, and every once in a while she'd make a comment about the cars and ask me something or whatever, and just, she's just 3 years old, just watching her with me. Well, towards the end of the race, it's getting towards the end of the race, and the last few laps, and all of a sudden she was really quiet all the time. And then they've got the cameras. The cameras are watching all the lead cars, and they're watching all the big stars, the big names on the cars, and they're cutting the shots of Dale Earnhardt Sr. and his number 3 car and stuff like that. I mean, he was basically the star of of Daytona, and of all the races, really. So the cameras were, would cut to him constantly, see what he was up to. Well, at some point. It was just, I guess, a few minutes before the end of the race. The end of the race there. She's been quiet all this time, and all of a sudden she looks at the screen, and she points at the car on the screen, and she says, "Daddy, he's not going to make it." And I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I just kind of looked at her and said, "What?" But it was just so weird how she said it. She just kind of pointed at the screen. She says, "He's not going to make it." And I looked at her and I looked at the car and I thought, this is kind of weird. I said, well, Tia, it's okay. It's fine. They're just going around the tracks and somebody's going to win here in a couple of minutes. Maybe he won't win the race. I was just thinking that he wasn't going to, she was just saying he wasn't going to win the race. About 2.5 minutes later, the 4th turn, car hit the wall, hit the retaining wall. Driver was killed instantly. And I looked at my daughter and I said, and I thought to myself, was that just a coincidence? Or did she just predict the death of Dale Earnhardt Sr. in the number 3 car? I don't know. I don't know. And I will probably never know. But to this day, that kind of haunts me. To have, the number 3 car hit the wall, the retaining wall, and to watch Dale Earnhardt Sr. get killed. And I don't know. I really don't know. But my daughter Tia, I don't know if she knew or if she was just saying that. I really don't know. But it's still, to this day, sends chills up my spine. And now you know the rest of the story. Yes, CM Center was 3. I don't know if it was because she was pointing the number 3 car because she was 3 or what. I don't know. Just weird, just weird stuff. So the number 3 has some significance. It has some significance. And Ed says, you want a reminder about National Days. Thank you, Ed. I do, and thank you very much because I didn't miss the National Days, and I'm glad you're here. My good friend Ed is he keeps me in check with the notes. He really does. He keeps me in check with all this stuff. And I'm glad you're here, Ed. I'm so glad you're here. I forgot the National Days again. How about that? I got caught up in all this stuff. There's just so much going on, right? All right, let's do the National Days real quick. Let's do something a little bit lighter. Okay, let's talk about something just a little bit lighter. Finish off the show on a lighter note. There's been a lot of weird stuff here. Yeah. February 13th. Let's do the National Days. Let's do the National Days. Thank you, Ed. It's for my good friend Ed Anthony. I'm going to toast you, Ed. Thank you. All right, February 13th, which is today for about 27 more minutes. February 13th is Galentine's Day. Yeah, it completely threw me when I thought, what in the world is Galentine's Day? Well, I had to look it up, and it turns out, because I'm a guy, so I don't know these things. I thought maybe it had to do with Gallivant or something like that, the TV show, the movie, the series, whatever. Galentine's Day is actually a day set aside. It's the day before Valentine's Day that's set aside for all the ladies in the office to celebrate each other as ladies, friends, like kind of a girlfriend that, hey, girlfriend, all the girls getting together and doing their gal thing. Galentine's Day, they have, I think the tradition is to have waffles and give each other just presents for fun. Galentine's Day. Did not know anything about that. Of course, I am not a gal. I am a guy, so I guess I wouldn't. Galentine's Day. Today is also National Cheddar Day. National Cheddar Day. Let me celebrate National Cheddar Day for just a moment by having a little bit of cheddar. So I can say I celebrated National Cheddar Day. Oh, I don't have one. I don't have one on the plate, but it's also National Tortellini Day. Love tortellinis. Who doesn't like tortellini? I'm Italian. I should love tortellini, right? Well, I do. National Tortellini Day. And it's also, and Ed, you would appreciate this. It's National Global Movie Day. Global Movie Day, the second Saturday in February is National Global Movie Day. I'll drink to that. I love movies. I'll drink to that. All right, of course, February 14th, there's the obvious ones. National Cream-Filled Chocolates Day. February 14th is National Cream-Filled Chocolates Day. I wonder why. It's all leading up to something, right? National Ferris Wheel Day. National Ferris Wheel Day. I cannot get up in a Ferris wheel. It's just, I have a thing about heights. I don't like them. So National Ferris Wheel Day, you can have that one. National Organ Donor Day. That's a very noble cause. National Organ Donor. And I know people who are organ donors. And I think that's a very noble thing. National Organ Donor Day. It's also, of course, the obvious it's Valentine's Day, right? Valentine's Day. I'll drink to that. It's also, of course, our wedding anniversary. We got married on Valentine's Day. That was not a coincidence. It was supposed to be romantic and also a way for me to remember the anniversary so I wouldn't do the Fred Flintstone thing and say, oh, I forgot my wedding anniversary. Of course, I never forgot my wedding anniversary, but this just makes it easier. You pick a day that's kind of a holiday anyway, and it just makes it easier for the guy to remember the anniversary, right? But it just seemed romantic. Why not? And so we did. I think those are the national days. Ed, thank you very much, my friend, once again, for reminding me about the national days. I don't know how he missed that. It was on the notes. I got the notes here. Birthdays, anniversaries, and national days right here. What can I say? Got caught up in the moment here, whatever the moment was. I'll have to say, people ask me, you like wine, don't you? Yeah, I'm a wine enthusiast. The more wine I drink, the more enthusiastic I get. That's true. They say wine improves with age. I improve with wine. Of course, that's probably open to debate with my wife. And you know, if people ask me like, how do you decide how much wine to drink on the show? How much wine, you know, and I try to pick half, you know, where it gets to halfway, which is a little past that now, but it's my, you know, it's Tia's birthday and our anniversary and my birthday coming up, so give it a little extra, I'm okay. So they say, how do you decide how much wine to drink? Well, I take it on a case-by-case basis. But so there you go. Few bad dad jokes for you for today. Let me check the chat again. Let's see. What are we going here? I missed a lot of stuff in the chat here. Let me go here. That square guy says, you know what they say. Oh, you know what we say when something weird happens? It's good that CM Cinder did that. Please don't use your powers again, though. Yeah, CM Cinder, please use your powers responsibly, please. So Barnstar has his National Day calendar. You got any National Days there that I didn't mention, Barnstar, on the calendar? CM Cinder says, if I have such predictive powers, I don't know how I'd even activate that. I think Galentine's Day is basically Girls' Day Out, the National Day. That's basically what it is. Wait, which day? Today? Yes, today is Galentine's Day, the 13th, your birthday, Galentine's Day. And CM Cinder says, I should tell Cheddar it's National Cheddar Day. Cheddar is her fish. She has a fish. She has two fish. She just picked up two fish. One is called Cheddar, because it's yellow. It's a goldfish. They're both goldfish. One is Cheddar, and the other one is, what is called? Pudge? Pudge. Yeah, I think that's the name of the fish. They follow me. They follow us around everywhere. You get up to the tank, and they just follow you around thinking you're going to give them food. Tia feeds them right out of her hand. Literally, she feeds them bloodworms. She just takes these bloodworms, and then she'll put her hand in there, and they come right up there and just nip the bloodworms out of her hand. Pretty fun to watch. Barnstar says Organ Donor Day is an interesting one to have for Valentine's Day, though. Actually, you know, when you think about it, yeah, there are probably some jokes in there. Probably not in good taste, though. I mean, you have my heart. You stole my heart. I'm going to. My heart belongs to you. My heart belongs to you. Yeah, and you just donated your. Yeah. You know what, Barnstar? I think you could write a few good dad jokes for good ones regarding to that. I right off the bat, I don't think I'm. I don't think I'm up to the task. Let's see here. What we got here? That square guy says, CM Cinder, maybe it's more like you giving your heart to someone in more literal sense. And CM Cinder says, perhaps you could technically do both then. And Barster says, I think you only went up to Gumdrop Day. What about the 16th through the 19th? Well, I look at it this way. If I toasted every day on the National Day calendar, I'd literally be on the floor. What he's talking about is this, a National Day calendar. My good friend Marlo Anderson is the CEO of National Day Calendar. That's where a lot of places, here on the news and whatever, radio, whatever they talk about the National Days. That's where a lot of them get the National Days from. It's a National Day Calendar. I've got one here. Now, Barnstar won one. I've got another one here that I've been wanting to give away. And I put out two contests, one on the 100th anniversary episode, the 100th episode a couple of weeks ago, and one last week. I was trying to give away one of these calendars, but nobody wanted to. Well, actually, the National Day Calendar and a 500 plus dad jokes book. And the dad joke book was for this. And Ed, both Eds, if you're in the chat, if you're still in the chat, and Ed Anthony, I know you want a 500 plus dad joke book. Okay, let me see if I got the book here. Is it up here? I got a picture of it somewhere. There it is. The 500 plus dad jokes. Funny, clean, corny, and just plain silly jokes. All right. There was a trivia question I asked last week. Last week I asked a trivia question. The trivia question was this. And Ed, I know you know the answer to this. Come on, you can't not know the answer. Okay. We were talking about, I think I mentioned Desi Lou Productions, which was the production company formed by Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball for I Love Lucy and for a lot of other shows. It was a big production company for TV shows for a while. There were two shows, two of the last shows that Desi Lou produced before they were bought out. The two shows, one was a spy show, and the other was a sci-fi show. A spy show and a sci-fi show. And they often use, as a matter of fact, I was watching, Chi and I would like to watch that spy show lots of times late at night on Pluto TV, on the internet TV. And I'm giving too much away. And I noticed that a lot of the sets that they used in some of those episodes were sets that they reused from shows like there were shows from a bunch of other TV shows. That some of them were produced by Desi Lou, others not, but some of them produced by Desi Lou. One was from the sci-fi show that I'm not going to mention. I almost slipped up there. And there were a couple of scenes that looked like it was from a scene from Get Smart, the opening of Get Smart, the old Get Smart TV show. Now, I'm not going to give you the names of the shows because that's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you one more week to do it. But if you can tell me the names of the two shows, that the two of the last shows that Desi Lou produced, that one was sci-fi and one was a spy show that Desi Lou produced, if you can give me the names of those two shows, then and you send it to rick@savoyamedia.com, rick@savoyamedia.com, then you will win a 500 plus dad joke book. And I'm saying the dad joke book. Then this is fun. This is a lot of fun. Barnstar, you can attest it. Who else won a dad joke book? Several people won dad joke books, and they're fun. And I've got one right here. I've got one right here in front of me. I got several of them right here, a couple of them, and I got a couple. I got one for me. I got a couple, one or two to give away. I'd love to give one away to you. Just tell me what the names of those two Desi Lou productions. One a sci-fi show and one a spy show. Spy show, I don't know if I could be 100% correct, but it's the closest thing to it. The sci-fi show has had many spin-offs and movies made from it. I'm giving away too much. The sci-fi show has. The spy show has had, actually, it ran for 6 seasons, came back for another 2 seasons a couple of years later, and then had a bunch of movies made from it as well. So very popular shows, both of them. So let me know. A Square Guy says, I don't want you to pay that postage again. Barnstar says, do a Grouch a Favor Day is coming up on the 16th. I guess I have a lot of favors coming to me. Can't wait. I know the sci-fi show by heart, but my lips are sealed. That's because you already have, Barnstar already has, I think, a dad joke book and a calendar. What else can I send you? Barnstar, that I haven't? You've got a button, right? You've got a button, Drink with Rick button, and you've got the. I'm pretty sure you've got the coasters too here, the Drink with Rick coasters. So I don't know what else I got left that I can send you. I can't send you the wine because they don't ship to some places, but. Beast on Gaming's in the chat. Oh, how did I miss you? How long have you been there, Beast on Gaming? How long have you been lurking in the chat? Come on, Beast on Gaming. All right, a lot of spin-offs from the films. It's sci-fi. Yeah, Beast on Gaming, it's good to see you, though. I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. Beast on Gaming says, I haven't seen anything related to the series, and I know what you're talking about. That Square Guy says, my guess is My Favorite Martian. Now, I know you know, and that Square Guy is being intentionally misleading, but I tell you what, My Favorite Martian is another favorite show of mine. Bill Bixby, Oh man, and Ray Walston. Oh yeah. Um, it's funny because when I was a kid, I used to watch My Favorite Martian, and I still watch it every once in a while. And I try to show it to Tommy. He couldn't really ever get into it, but and it's okay. It's no big deal. But everybody has their own interests. But I knew Ray Walston and Bill Bixby from My Favorite Martian, and when Bill Bixby showed up on the Hulk, the TV show is the Hulk years later, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Bill Bixby has a life after My Favorite Martian. And then when I saw Ray Walston on films like South Pacific, the Rodgers and Hammerstein South Pacific, and I saw him doing a song and dance number on South Pacific, I was like, it just blew me away because it was like, Ray Walston can sing and dance? I had no idea, and I did not know. And that was his life before, I think it was before My Favorite Martian, and he'd done some stuff after that later on. Of course, Ray Walston wasn't he the school teacher on Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Yes, he was. He played he played the school teacher on Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Ray Walston did, I believe. And he's done some other stuff, too. I think he played a judge in something. He's done a lot of other stuff. But I didn't... Who knew? I only knew him from My Favorite Martian. A fun show. That was always a fun show. I always enjoy that show. Barnstar says, I hear there is a remake of Buck Rogers soon to produce. Oh, boy. I don't know. I loved that show as a kid. I love Buck Rogers, too. And come on, let's face it. Gil Gerard... To me, he was Buck Rogers. Well, of course, there was a Buck Rogers before that. The cereal, the old cereal from the movies, from the movie theaters way back when. And I think I actually have one. I have a 16 millimeter film. I think it's either Buck Rogers or what's the other one? I think I do have a half-hour reel on 16 millimeter, old black and white, from an old black and white Buck Rogers episode. Before Gil Gerard, I don't know. Gil Gerard. But that was a fun show. I like that. And that Square Guy says, ooh, that could be amazing. Barnstar says, I know, right? It's just a 2-bit ripoff of Duck Dodgers. Oh, come on. Duck Dodgers in the 25th and a half century. Yes, so another favorite of mine. Yeah, yeah, I've seen them all. So Ed says, do you want to, case by case, you drink it by the case, I guess. Okay, Ed, I think you got it. You got one. Ed got one. Okay, I'm looking at Facebook. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to award this tonight. If Ed can get both of them. Okay, you gave one, you gave the sci-fi one, but the other one is, yes, I know the initials, but you got to spell it out. You got to spell it out because a lot of initials, you got to spell it out. But yes, I think you are correct if I had the initials correct, but you got to spell it out. Come on, to be fair, you got to spell it out. But you got them both, and I'll mention them both. If you can mention the second one, you type up the second one, full title, not just the initials. Then you've won this book, and I'm going to send it to you right away because I've got one right here. Ed says when Bill Bixby died, he was directing Blossom. Yeah, he was. I think he was. And Ed says Flash and Buck were both played by. I think they were both played by. It was Flash Gordon. That was the other one I was thinking of. Yeah, thank you, Ed. I mentioned Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon. Actually, I think the 60mm film that I have in my archives here, actual 60mm film, is an episode of Flash Gordon, not Buck Rogers. Yeah, Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers were I think they were played by the same guy, weren't they? My memory escapes me who it was. I'm trying to remember. I know the name. It's on the tip of my tongue. After over 2/3 of a bottle of this. The memory escapes me. The brain cells are not all there now. Ed, okay, you did type it out. Okay, so we have a winner. We have a winner after 2 weeks because Ed wasn't here last week. I knew he could have gotten this last week. Okay, we have a winner for the Dad Jokes book, the 100 Plus Dad Jokes book. Okay, the 2 films produced by Desi Lou Productions, Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, truncation Desi Lou. The last 2 TV shows that were produced by them were Star Trek and Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. Yes, Ed, you are correct on both counts. You win. I'm so happy about it. I'm just glad. Well, I know you love books anyway. I don't know if you like this one. It's funny. You'll read it in about 10 minutes, but it's funny. I love this dad joke book. But you win the 500 plus. You win the 500 plus dad jokes, funny, clean, corny, and just plain silly jokes. Thank you, Ed. I knew you'd come through for me, as you always do. I think, yes, it was Star Trek and Mission Impossible. Star Trek, which had a number of films made, and of course a whole reboot, and some films from that, and of course a number of spin-off shows from that. I watched one episode of Discovery, and I have to admit I wasn't really impressed with it. I know for some reason it just didn't grab me. It just seemed too. I don't know. I didn't like it. But Picard. I saw the first episode of Picard, and they had it behind the paywall of CBS Plus or whatever it is, and whatever they call them now. And I haven't been able to see the rest of the episodes since, but I liked the first episode. I thought it was pretty good. And, of course, in that first episode, Picard, what's he doing? He's in a vineyard. He has his own vineyard. He's growing grapes, and he's got his own winery. Picard. Yes, a man after my own heart. Captain Jean-Luc Picard has a vineyard, and that's how he retired. He went to his own vineyard, and he's growing his own grapes, and he's making wine. And he's living the life, isn't he? Till he gets called back into service, right? Here's to Jean-Luc Picard. It's a fictional character. Come on. But I tell you what, Patrick Stewart, though, it impressed me when he was doing those soliloquies. He was reading all the soliloquy a day, and I was following that. And I think I mentioned that somewhat, but he was doing like a soliloquy a day, Shakespeare poems, and it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. This was last year when the pandemic had just started and everybody was at home. Well, we're still at home. Anyway, it was cool. I really enjoyed that. Very refreshing. So yes, Ed, you win, and Ed says, I can't remember the name either. He was a swimmer, yes. Leonard Nimoy was in both series. Yes, he was. That's another trivia question. You kind of blew that for me. I was going to use that, but it's okay. It's good. It's all good, Ed. But yeah, there's another piece of trivia about that, is that with Desi Lou, Leonard Nimoy was actually a regular character in both Star Trek and Mission Impossible. He showed up in seasons I think 5 and 6 in Mission Impossible, I think, if I remember correctly, when Peter Graves was doing it. And he was only, I think it was only doing it for like a couple of seasons. And I think he replaced, I'm trying to remember who he replaced. But he was only in it for a couple of seasons. Anyway, I've been trying to catch the episodes with Leonard Nimoy in Mission Impossible. And in Mission Impossible, his character's name was Paris. That was his character's name in Mission Impossible. And I've been trying to catch the episodes there on Pluto TV, but they kind of rotate them, and I keep missing those. So I haven't really been able to watch an episode with Leonard Nimoy as Paris. Now, here's another thing, though. So a little piece of trivia. Oh, by the way, Mission Impossible and Star Trek, there were several characters that would show up on Star Trek or Mission Impossible from Star Trek. As a matter of fact, the other night, she and I were watching an episode of Mission Impossible, and it was the guest character on there who was part of the team in that one was George Takei. So and then there were several people that would show up from Star Trek on Mission Impossible from time to time. Anyway, I was going to give you another piece of trivia here that Leonard Nimoy was in another series that was also I love very much, and I mentioned it earlier. Tonight. He did a guest starring role in an episode where he played a bad guy. He played a killer, and I probably shouldn't mention who it is. That would be no, I don't know if people would get that. But Columbo, you like Columbo? I love Columbo. I love Columbo. My whole family loves Columbo. We've seen every episode of Columbo. We have a set of a lot of the Columbos that we watch from time to time on DVD. It's all MeTV all the time, and I think one of the other channels that they play all the time. One of the greatest TV detectives of all time. And I watched Columbo. I used to watch Columbo way back as a kid when it was on the Sunday Mystery movie. The Sunday Mystery movie that would be in rotation with some other shows like McMillan and Wife and some of those others. Anyway, Columbo, one of the greatest TV detectives ever, played by Peter Falk, who, by the way, I mentioned Peter Falk earlier because he played the grandfather in The Princess Bride, the grandfather who was reading the story to his grandson, his sick grandson, played by Fred Savage of the Wonder Years. And there was an episode of Columbo, there was one of the Columbos, that Leonard Nimoy showed up as a bad guy. He played a doctor. He was the bad guy. He was the killer. Or he tried to be killer. And the person he tried to kill was none other than Will Geer. Will Geer from the Waltons, the guy who played the grandpa on the Waltons. Here is Leonard Nimoy, a doctor, playing a doctor, trying to kill Grandpa from the Waltons. Oh, man, it doesn't get any worse than that, does it? And in fact, that was that episode of Columbo was the only one where Columbo actually got mad at him. He just slammed on the desk and he got mad at Leonard Nimoy because Leonard Nimoy is being such a jerk. So smug, like I'm getting away with this. And Columbo got him mad. That's the only one of the few times we actually saw Columbo angry at the killer. Anyway, so I digress. What time is it? Oh boy. See, when I start talking about my favorite topic, which is movies and TV shows, I get way off topic, don't I? Okay, so it's time to close it up, isn't it? Wore up my welcome long ago. All right, well, so let me get back to the chat for just a moment. The Barnstar says Picard. Let's see what that's in reference to. Okay, let me see. I missed some things in the chat. Sorry about that, folks. I saw that. Barnstar says, are the Eds going to team up? I'm sure they will at some point. I don't know why they couldn't. Go Team Ed. Talk about typecasting. That's the square guy. Says, talk about typecasting. And the square guy says, that would be like the same guy playing both Captain America and the Human Torch. Yeah, it kind of would be. It kind of would be. Barnstar says, I have the 1980s Flash Gordon movie theme song burned into my brain forever. And that's not hard to do because that 1980s Flash Gordon theme song was created by none other than, come on, Flash. Yeah. I like that. It's a campy movie. It's a very campy movie. I saw it in the theater, and it was campy then, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The Flash 80s Flash Gordon music. And you know who it is, right? I'm going to let you say. Well, I'll give it to you. Okay. Queen. Okay. Queen did the music, the theme music for the Flash Gordon movie. Yes, it would, and it does. It does kind of stick in your head. A lot of Queen's songs stick in my head. Uh, Star Trek never would have gotten off the ground if Desi Lou hadn't stepped in and given it a second chance after the first failed pilot that NBC hadn't picked up. That's absolutely true. Barnstar, I'm proud of you. You knew that trivia there. That is some trivia that a lot of people don't know. That that pilot was pitched around and NBC turned it down. I think there were one or two. I think there was another. There was another network that turned it down too, and then Desi Lou picked it up, and they said we're going to do it because they liked it. Yes, that's true. Star Trek never would have happened if Desi Lou hadn't stepped in and picked it up. Barnstar says Picard was hit or miss. Let's see, what else? I'm missing stuff in the chat here. The Square Guy, note, the same guy did play both Captain America and Human Torch. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's another, we're getting late here. That's another discussion for another time here. Speaking of which, see, I'm doing it again. I said, well, I'm going to close it up, and here we are doing it. My son and I stayed up and did a marathon, did some binge watching of I'm not going to get started on this here, but WandaVision. And I was totally confused at the first episode, but then I started catching on by the second and third episode, and it was like, Tommy says, yeah, you kind of have to stick with it a little bit, Dad. Yeah, stick with it. Yeah, by the third episode, I think I got what was going on. And I don't want to, no spoilers. I don't want to catch it. But yeah, you got to watch some WandaVision. I'm hooked. I'm hooked on WandaVision now, okay? WandaVision is kind of fun. It's kind of fun. And there's still 3 more episodes to go in the series. Of course, then again, I got hooked on The Expanse, too, and something that he didn't get into. Probably a good thing. It's a lot of intense stuff in The Expanse. Anyway, so I think it's about time to close it up, right? CM Center says, unfortunately, I got to go to sleep, Dad, and unfortunately, so do I. Yes. Based on game, Squirga says, oh, you're finishing anyway. Yes, well, I kind of have to, I think. The Squirga says, if I don't get back here before you finish, thanks for the fun stream, and I'll see you next time. We're going to finish it up. I think it's time to wrap it up. I think I've overstayed everybody's welcome. It's been such a packed show, and it's been fun. It's just been great. Ed, thank you for being here in the chat and helping me out, buddy. Ed says, early episode of Get Smart, Nimoy shot with pool cue, I think. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, Eve. Thank you very much, Ed. Thank you very, very much. And here's to you. All right, well, for our final summary here, this is what we were drinking. We're drinking the Richard Childress Vineyards number 3. It's just called 3. It's a red wine, and it's a combination of Cabernet Blanc, Malbec, and Merlot. And I don't know what how much is in each of it in the combination, but it's actually a pretty decent wine. I was surprised because I was expecting something a lot sweeter. I was a little concerned about that because I don't really care much for sweet wines. But this has turned out to be just kind of sweet on the tongue, but goes down really smooth, very silky. I like this wine. And as it's opened up, I like it even more. And, as a matter of fact, I have to say that I would probably buy another bottle of this. This is actually pretty good. For our local North Carolina wine, I like it. Went really well with the local barbecue, the beef brisket, and the chicken. Not so much with the beef summer sausage. The sausage needs a wine with a little more tannin in it. This doesn't have a whole lot of tannin, but it's a lot of cherry, some raspberry in it, a little bit oaky, not too much. Nice finish to it. It does have a nice finish. And it goes, you know what, there's one more thing. Oh, as Columbo would say, just one more thing. I forgot the birthday cake. We got to do this real quick, okay? Birthday cake. Got to have a slice of birthday cake. This is actually Tia's birthday cake. Somehow I think it became mine too, but it's really Tia's birthday cake. So I'm going to have a little slice of this from Nothing But Cakes. Oh, wow. I love birthday cake. I love birthday cake flavored cake. I know. And I love birthday cake flavored ice cream. Oh, boy. And that goes good with the wine. But you have to be careful because that's a lot of sugar in both birthday cake and wine. If you're not prepared for that, that will give you a headache in the morning. But that's good. That's just awesome. That's really, it's a good combination. Okay, excellent combination. Okay, with that, I want to say thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. I so much appreciate everybody here, and I appreciate you being here. Wow, I can't begin to list everybody here, can I? Ed Panis, the two Eds, thank you for being here. Ed Panis and Ed Anthony, thank you both. My lovely wife, Chi, as always, thank you for putting this nice spread together for me to taste, to pair with the wine. Sherrod and Kathy and Sherrod, thank you for being here. I hope you had a great time. Tom and Nancy Fenton, thank you for being here also. If you're still here, if you're not, thank you for being here anyway. My wonderful, sweet sister-in-law Benny, thank you for being here as well. And I do appreciate the anniversary and birthday wishes. Thank you very much. Did I miss anybody here on Facebook? I hope not. If you're looking on Facebook, thank you for hanging out with me on Facebook. Rhonda and a few other people liked the post, so thank you, Rhonda, for being here, for liking this. And on Twitch, let's see if did I miss anybody on nothing going on YouTube. And on Twitch, all my friends on Twitch, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank. I have to scroll way up to see everybody. Who else? Who did I miss here? Okay, that Square Guy, of course, my good friend, that Square Guy. Check out his stream, that Square Guy. Let's just call that Square Guy on Twitch. Check out his Twitch stream. Tell him his Twitch stream. Tell him I sent you. Or don't tell him. It's okay. That's fine. Just go there and check him out. It's a lot of fun. And Barnstar, who keeps changing his name so much. And now it's, what is it? Teobaki Barnstar. I can't even pronounce it. Well, Barnstar, it's good to see you, my friend, as always. CM Cinder, Tom Antio, thank you for being in the chat with me. Who else did I miss in here? I know there were other people in the chat watching. There were, I got to go through the chat and see everybody. Somebody else was in here. Who was it? Did I miss anybody? Oh, please. I know there's a long chat. Stuff going on in the chat. Beast on Gaming, yes, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here tonight. Always appreciate you being here tonight. You know, I'm missing KM Bread. I know KM Bread's here often, and I'm missing him to KM Bread tonight, but I'd like to toast him, KM Bread, if he's around. And let's see, there was somebody else in the chat here. There's somebody else in the chat that I missed early on. Somebody can tell me real quick who it was. If I missed you, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I try to catch everybody here. There's just so much going on. Anyway, thank you for being here with me tonight. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and it's just been such a great time. Please, no matter what you're drinking, please do not drink and drive. Well, it's water, it's okay. Coffee. But don't spill the coffee on you while you're driving. That's not good. Been there, done that. And it leaves a nasty stain on the lap. Please do not drink and drive. Please. Drink in the comfort of your home, your apartment, your hotel room. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a cab if you have to. Do not drink and drive. Please do not text and drive, because you know what that means. That's not good either. Because I want you to have a great week, but I want you to also have a safe week. Most of all, a safe week. I want you to join me here next week on the Saturday Night Wine Stream, and we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.